Da-da-da. Here, what am I doing? This is the gold stuff manifested from electrolysis, making electric arc. A-R-C. Here's the arc. Power cord. Down to the liquid. What do we know? What's going on? What's going on? If you look in there, you can see that wire is making smoke. But it's underneath the urine. That is because it is a negative wire, the black wire. Now the positive wire, it corrodes. It's over there. It's not doing much. I'll bring it up, you can see. Here it is, it's in the liquid. I have attached a piece of copper, and it does give something off, but it's more than likely carbon. Apparently, Ormus attaches to it, while the other one gets rid of the hydrogen gas, the positive emitter. The positive electrode, sorry. Okay, well, anyway, it corrodes. And it will corrode down. As if you look carefully, you can see how bunga is. It's got all this white crappy stuff on the copper wire. Put it back in the circuit, in the liquid, nothing happens to it. But yet, for some reason, it builds up in white stuff. Okay, so here's the other one. Two wires going in. I use the green wire to ignore that look at earth. But if you look over here, what do you see? You see a brass 10-cent coin attached to, it's been wired. So I just cut the wire, twirled it till it was straight, and I wrapped it around the coin, and I twisted it until it was stuck to it. So the coin was stuck to the wire. And put a power circuit through. It's the negative emitter, negative electrode, and for some reason, brass coins work well as electrodes, and they cause a better conduction, and they cause a lot of bubbles. Those bubbles is hydrogen. Okay, so what I'm really trying to do is get the positive corroding one, which I've attached to a lump of copper to make up the crunchiness, cramming the stuff together, crunching it together, and later on there'll be all this silt stuff at the bottom. And so I put it in liquid, I took off all the waste urine, and I kept all the almost appearing sort of stuff. I stuck it in a jar and filled it with water. And this is more diluted, because you want to try to rid the urine of its acid, because it has uric acid. And so what you do is you wash it, and then let it settle. Letting it settle allows all this particles to go from up to the bottom and down through gravity. It's gravity settling. And what you want to do is you want to have a look as I put it in. There's all these lumps of who knows what wasn't in the urine before. If you stir it clockwise and try to make a single column of density, like a tornado density column, you'll find stuff going on. But what it does is it crams it all together. Because what I want is it very condensed, very crammed, very concentrated, as well as it will settle and be clean. So there's a bit of copper in there, a bit of brass, it's come off of the copper that I've used. That just stinks thing. We need to get that out of there. Get a few of those going on, and you're getting copper colloids. Yeah, copper is one thing that causes. If you have grey hair, it said that if you have copper colloids, colloidal copper, it'll help rewire your circuitry. So the human body is just made out of copper wires, and those things, they corrode. So you need to re-electrolyze, do an electroplating, replate your electrical circuits in your body. Your energy pathways to send signals from your brain to move your muscles. So if you stir it up, you get a whopping mess, and you have to just go away and let it settle. But I always swear by a couple of stirs at least, just to try to condense it in the centre, in the cyclone. It's that centripetal action. Alright, so before I used to have urine and try to put stuff with it and see if we can get anything out of it. I put sodium hydroxide with it and I got all this amazing stuff. But I had to flush out all the proteins and all the calciums and all the hydroxides and everything. And you'd be lucky if you got anything left. You know, it took me 2 massive jars of urine just to get one good dose of remaining Ormus, and it took 3 buckets of diluted sodium hydroxide in order to turn the hydroxide into salt. I had salt. Isn't that green? But I mean, you don't have to use salt. You can just use urine, and I've used urine as well in 3 buckets. And hydroxide seems to draw out all the things that are hidden in it. And I find that you make sodium hydroxide with 2 electrodes anyway. Why not just find one that works with better conduction? And if you're making hydroxide, you draw the Ormus out. The acidity is like acting like a battery. And the 2 electrodes do the arcing more efficiently through electricity and through acidity, and it also pulls it out very fast. And that's why there's material at the bottom at all, because usually in urine you can't get any material to come out unless you're using a hydroxide or electric system. I'll do what, that's what it's done. Then you go to urinate, go into the sea and it's struck by lightning. Maybe it formed matter. What is this matter exactly? I wouldn't have much of a clue. But I've had some pretty avid highs when I purified it down to white chalk. Like this one here. It's so refined, but it's too little amount. It's like pure consciousness. This is it. After 3 washes. And I don't even think anything will settle. I've had some that just won't settle. Some people have had consciousness so full of light that it just will not clump or solidify in any way. Sometimes you have to put it in the fridge, in the freezer. But the thing is, glass shatters. When the water expands, it can shatter the glass. Then you transfer it into a plastic container and then put it in the freezer. I keep saying fridge. But anyway, you see all the coppery stuff, the bluey coppery stuff on the top of that jar? And that's what happens. See, if you use a big jar and electrolyze it, like this big jar, it's pretty slow. There's a constant about it. But it's just pretty slow. The smaller equals more quicker conversion. I've got a small jar. So big jars are mostly for mixing and settling, or urinating hydroxides and drawing out the Ormus.